Yo, what's up, fam? My name is Ben Wexler. If this is your first time joining me, I have a Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry. I triple minored in math, physics, and biology. I'm a medical school dropout. I'm a yoga teacher, martial artist, musician, and a motivational speaker. And welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to talk about 3 ways to stay motivated. These are 3 ways to try to get you up whenever you are stagnant or whenever you are depressed. The brutal truth is that if you're depressed, you probably have too much time on your hands. I'm sure you can recall a point in your life, or at least conceive being busy to the point where you don't even have time to feel depressed. You are just so focused on the mission that you just don't have time, right? When you have too much time, what can happen is you'll focus on the past or the future. Lao Tzu has a very famous quote: if you are depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. And if you are content, you are living in the present, right? And in this video, we're not gonna talk about anxiety too much, but they really are the same. It's just one is future-oriented and one is past-oriented. And depression also has like sprinkles of feeling overwhelmed or incapable. And really what it is it's like this swampy energy. A swamp is like water that's stagnant, and because it's not moving, it's an environment where gunk can build up and moss can accrue and fungi can grow, and it's just all these things that you don't really want in your life can take hold and start to weigh you down. What we do want is your energy to move like a stream. A stream is generally clear water because it's moving. So it doesn't have time for these, it doesn't have the environment for these things to grab hold. And so that's what we want. And so aside from meditation, meditating, if you're always meditating, you're always in the now. That's what meditation is always just, it's the practice of being here now. It's the practice of feeling your body, observing your senses, observing your thoughts without reacting to them or wanting them to be different than they actually are, right? Meditation is the practice of being aware of your body and accepting reality as it is. But I feel like the problem is if you're depressed, if you're lacking motivation, then you're not gonna get up and meditate. You're just not gonna get up. You're not gonna get out of bed. You're just gonna keep scrolling on your phone. You're just gonna keep wasting your time. You're gonna keep ruminating. But how do we get from that stagnant energy to the clear stream? Number 1 is focus on what you want, not what you don't want. And there is a whole body of evidence to back this up. Any spiritual text will back this up. This is manifesting 101. There's a quote, I think it's Bruce Lee: as you think, so shall you become. As you think, so shall you become. And so you want to focus on what you want. And this is, in spirituality, this is called moving with intention. So a common way that we talk about intention, we also talk about it in yoga. If you have a good yoga teacher, when you're about to start your practice, they'll say, hey, set an intention for your practice today. And it could be a physical one, it can be a mental one. Do you want to play more today? Do you want to be more strict with yourself? Do you want to practice more discipline? Do you want to let yourself move a little more intuitively? You want to practice non-judgment, you want to practice your drishti, etc., etc. The list goes on, it's an infinite list. But with plant medicine, the same is true. This is the difference between taking mushrooms to get high and taking mushrooms to gain some kind of download, some kind of spiritual insight that you can then integrate and act upon and then upgrade your life. That's the difference. And the difference between these two is one is in ceremony and one is not in ceremony. So what is the difference between ceremony and not ceremony? It's just intention. And all intention is it's like, how do you want to move? So what do you want? What do you want? We know what you don't want. That's what you're thinking about. That's what's keeping you down. If you have motivation, you know what you want and you're working towards it. So we need to get you from here, where we're at right now, to that space, because we know you'll be happy again once that engine is running and you're moving forward. So think about what you want. What do you want? What do you want? I'll tell you what I want. I want to be a master of motivational speaking, a master musician, and a master movement coach. And when I focus on these things, the realm of possibility opens up. There's so much to learn. There's so many books to read. There's so much I can do. And when you're depressed, when you lack motivation, you feel helpless or you feel overwhelmed instead of excited. We need to get you excited. And so how do we get you excited? Let's move with intention. The other part, which is not so fun to look at, but is equally as important, if not more important, because the first part is, I think, very common in spirituality and motivation. Everyone likes to look at the flowers. No one likes to look at the roots. And Carl Jung has a quote, something to the light of, a tree can't have branches extend to heaven unless it has roots that extend into hell. And you need to have both, right? And that's one of the problems with spirituality is everyone's focused on the light. Everyone's focused on the yang. Everyone's focused on the positive. When anyone that's been around long enough knows that's bullcrap and that you need to focus on the darkness just as much, right? We all want to eat. Eating is a negative thing, right? Eating is you're taking from the universe. And then you want land, you want property, you want, sexual gratification, you want money. Then this is all this part of you that if you try to neglect, you're just lying to yourself and you're lying to the universe, and your life will reflect it. And you're just gonna be one of these hippies that they have the happy mask on, but behind that mask, they're crying because everything has to be a positive experience to them, which is inauthentic, which is manipulative. So you have to focus on what you don't want. You have to build that picture, and it hurts, and you need to let it hurt. You want to look at who do you not want to be at the end of life? What do you not want to say? Right? I want to die like a hero going home. Personally, I want to die like I gave it hell. I did my best. I left it all on the arena of life. I did the damn thing. I put it out there. I put it down to the best of my ability. Right? All the greats will say it. I've never feared losing. I feared not trying. So the opposite is like, I don't want to go through life knowing I could have done more. And the irony is that you will regret feeling depressed. That's the irony. It's like depression is almost like shame. It's like this shame that you feel, and you're like punishing yourself. You will never be proud of punishing yourself at the end of life. That's just a fact. Looking back, you'll be like, dang, I wish I knew how good I had it. Because every day we're getting older. Every day we're getting one day closer to our time to go. And every day that comes, we lose a little bit of energy. We lose a little bit of life force. And every day gets harder. And you're not gonna have the energy 30 years from now that you do today. And it's ironic, right? That you probably, in some weird way, you're feeling depressed because you think it's benefiting you, but it's not. And so focus, you can look at it that way. Imagine going through your entire life depressed and then looking back at your life. What would you look like? How sad will you be then? Life is clearest through the lens of death. When you're about to die, that's when you see everything, you see all the illusions for what they are. Caring about what people think. That's the biggest one, really. You're too afraid, your ego, you're too afraid to fail. You're too afraid to look foolish. You're too afraid to say something stupid. You're too afraid to post a video that gets 10 views. You're too afraid to be wrong. I'm 36 at the time of making this video. When I look at me, when I first started doing these things, I started at 28. And I recorded a ton, but I only posted a handful. And I look back and a part of me does cringe because they weren't that good. But a part of me is like, dude, I was getting it. Look at me getting it. Yeah, I didn't have it all figured out, but I was getting it. Look at young Ben putting it down. And you have this like pride. You don't even care about like how good it looked. You're just like, man, he was doing it. He was out there doing his thing. And that makes you more proud than anything. And that's how you will look back on your life if you put it out there. So the antithesis is looking back on a life of regret. And really like take time to soak that in. Take time to really just think about that. How does that feel? And feel it. Because now, not only you have something to run to, you have something to run from. Because the trap of living too much in what you want is, even though you're not actually working towards something, you can feel like you're still working towards it. But reality is saying different. And so there's a trap there. Oh dang, like I'm not moving, I'm not actually living like how I want to live. So the intention gets you going, and then the pain of regret, of potential regret, that life that you don't want to look back on, keeps you going. And so before we get into number 3, if you've made it through this video so far and you like what I'm saying, give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Number 3 is also kind of a dark one. Number 3 gets a lot of hate because they say comparison is the thief of joy, which is true, but everything exists on a spectrum. And what is medicine for one man is poison to another. And it just depends on where you're at in the spectrum. Spiritually, we're always playing a balancing game. You can't have too much of one thing. And as soon as you go too much one side, it loops back to the other side, and then you're right where you started from. It's one of the many ironies of life, right? And so you have too much abundance mindset, you're too optimistic, you need a little bit of pessimism. You're too pessimistic, you need a little optimism. And that's just one of the dances that we do. And the tendency is that we are too competitive, right? It's like the best is the enemy of the good. So like people that are the best at something will prevent the good from doing their thing at all, because it's like, what's the point of me picking up a basketball if Michael Jordan exists? And so that's when you don't want to compare. You don't want to compare yourself to the best, because then you won't do anything at all. So that's valid there. But what I've been tuning into in my life is comparing myself to my social circle, which is something that we've lost in the age of technology. Technology has made it just so like, it used to be like one expert at a given topic in a village, right? Now, that expert, you may be the best in your city at a certain thing. Because of the internet, you get just grouped in with the best of that niche, and now you're like 30 down from the top. And then now all of a sudden you could feel like you're not that cool anymore. But even then, you can use competition. That is a signal from the universe that you need to step it up in some way. If you are top 30 in the world at something, there is a reason that you're not number one, and you need to do the hard work and listen to what the universe is trying to tell you. And if you can't do something about it, like if it's like the way you look, because we know that like better looking people tend to do better on camera and they're better liked, and it's the halo effect and blah, blah, blah. But like even then, there's things you can do to looks max yourself. There's usually one actionable item that you can take at least. It could be the way you speak, blah, blah, blah. It keeps going, right? But for me, number 3 is competition. Competition, it's like, I can do this better than you. It's a dark energy. It's a dark one. It's a dominating energy. And I want to dominate life. I want to dominate life. Guess what? Personal growth has a shadow aspect of it, because you might not know it, but when you're doing personal growth, you're saying, I want to be better than the next person. When you're going to the gym, when you're meditating, when you're eating right, not only you are taking care of yourself, but you're leaving all these other people in the dust too, and they're not going to really like that, because now you're elevating yourself, right? And what better mating strategy is there than that? To separate yourself from the crowd. And there's a darkness in that, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, you're in competition with everybody. And the game is rigged this way for a reason. This is how you get champion, right? To be a champion is to beat everybody else. That means you have to be, I want to be better than you. It's not just about being the best version of yourself. It's about, I want to be better than everybody else. And you might take this the wrong way, but it is what it is. You want to be gold? You want to have a gold medal? You have to beat other people. You have to put people in silver and bronze and lay everyone else to rest before them. You have to put them in their place. And this fires me up. This fires me up. Again, the best is the enemy of the good, not focusing on people that are like, when I think about Joe Rogan, when I think about Joe Dispenza, when I think about people that have 1 million subs, I don't even have 100 subs as of making this video. And I'm literally getting 10 views per video. When I think about them, oh man, I don't even want to make a video. It's like, what's the point? They got editing, they got staff, they got, it's just me in my garage, my banner and my camera and my mic. I'm doing everything. I don't have all that. I will one day, but I can't think of that because I can't afford to think of that. You know what I can think about? The people in my social circle that have done a podcast or two and then stopped. I'm gonna do this better than you. It's healthy. It's a healthy competition. And so those are my 3. Those help me get it. If I'm feeling stagnant, if you want energy, if you want to connect it from like where your potential is to that clear stream, I love these 3. These 3 fire me up. They get me going. And by the way, competition also keeps you in check. Okay? Competition is a very quick way to show you when you're not living to the best, when you're not moving as intentional as you can, when you're not moving as quickly as you can, when you're not delivering words as quickly as you can, when you're not holding yourself to the best of your ability, because someone else will, right? Imagine how other people look whenever they're waking up. They're on their phones. I'm getting it. I'm getting it, boy. I'm out here. I'm hustling. You can't stop this machine. That fires me up. Thinking about my own capacity fires me up, and it should for you too. And that competition keeps you in check. What are they eating? Yeah, you're eating this and that over here. I got this clean keto plate, flawless, grass-fed, cooked by yours truly. The drip is fresh, the words are fresh, the beard is clean. Teeth. I want my teeth to be spotless white. Why? Because I took a selfie with someone famous I met in the coaching space who had a way brighter smile than me. I met him at my gym. I talked about it on a previous YouTube video. I'm not gonna name drop here, but I took a selfie with him, and his smile was pearly white and mine was not. And you know what? I said, never again. Competition. Competition. If you like the video, then like the video. Subscribe if you want. Share it if you dug it. Until next time, peace.